Baby, when I tell y'all, life tried to carry me up out of here, and that bitch almost won. Catch these teas. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy come in the morning time. Y'all, I find this quote so fitting as I lay in my bed watching the sun rise over Biscayne Bay. You guys may not recognize the background, but I am in my bedroom, and I found it fitting that I did this video from my bed because this is the place where I have spent the most time in the last 6, 8, 9 weeks or whatever. So I would only be doing myself the disservice of doing this video outside of the safety and the comfort that my bed provides me if I didn't do it here. So what's been going on with the dog? Y'all, I'm not ashamed to say I'm a mess right now. I can't eat, can't sleep. Bills are piling high. Ain't worked in 3 weeks. Ain't shaved. You had to be an old school Anthony Hamilton lover to know that song, I'm a Mess. Listen to that song right now because it describes depression perfectly. So, y'all, I was a mess. Now I'm cleaning up my mess, but I am good. Y'all all know my dad passed away and I was on a vacation from work. I was on a vacation from life. I was on a vacation from responsibility. I was on a vacation from eating. I was on a vacation from everything because I was paralyzed in bed in what has turned out to be one of the darkest periods of aloneness that I have ever experienced before. And it's surprising to me because I was not as close to my dad as I was to my grandmother and my mom. But this situation took a heavier toll on me. And I'm not quite sure why just yet. As I begin to unpack it, I think a lot of it has less to do with my dad and more to do with the fact that I had so many other intense, stressful situations going on simultaneously leading up to my dad's death. At least that's what I need to believe, because I also feel guilty for the fact that I feel more hurt by the death of someone that I wasn't as close to, meaning my mother and my grandmother. Like, for some reason right now, I'm feeling feelings of guilt. Like, I should have been this distraught over my mother, but I wasn't. Why him? And that's something else that I'm going to have to explore and unpack a later time, if he is the reason why solely. But I really do feel like the culmination of me carrying 2 households, dealing with my brother's, mental illness, legal situation, which is something that is still going on, by the way. It's just, it's progressing. We've seen some progress. So it's not as taxing, but that is still an ongoing situation. This was just a lot. So this can get lengthy. Let me not make it too long. So about 2 weeks before my father passed away, maybe 2.5 weeks before my father passed away, it was the last time that I physically saw him prior to seeing him in the casket. And the reason being is my father had flew all of his kids in. We were at the house. I went in the room and no one had told me, that he had lost a significant amount of weight, nor had he started hospice. So I had saw my dad maybe about a week or 2 prior to that, and he was fine, well, up and kicking. Yeah, he was sleeping and he was tired. So I just wasn't prepared for what I was walking into. And when I walked into him laying in the bed with the equipment and different little things around the room, it was the first time since he had gotten the cancer diagnosis that this thing is real and it's happening. Like, yeah, he was sick with the cancer, but I wasn't the one who had to drive him to chemotherapy. And when I would come over to the house, he'd be sitting on the sofa watching TV and conversing as he normally does. So this whole dad is dying of cancer thing, it had not taken physical form for me. And even now, I question how much of that was a protective mechanism of my own brain, me going into a voluntary state of denial. Um, I realized throughout my dad's cancer situation, I didn't call and ask a lot of questions. And now that I look back at it, it's because, yeah, I just didn't want to know. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm kind of methodical when it comes to processing emotions and feelings and grief. At least I like to think I am. And I think my subconscious rationale was, we've got this 6 months diagnosis that he's going to die. Ain't no need in me being mad and sad for the whole 6 months. Let me try to live as much of this in a normal state of mind as possible, especially while I've got all these other things going on. And then I'll just deal with it when the bill comes due. And when the bill came due, baby, I paid the price. Like I always say, baby, you're going to pay on the front end or the back end, but you going to pay. And when you pay on the back end, you pay with penalties and interest. And when I tell you, baby, mama paid the price, mama paid the price. I have never experienced the level of darkness and sadness at the intensity level that I did with this situation. Depression is very real, y'all, and it is scary. And what was scary about it is that I found myself laying in the bed, chanting in my mind, I don't want to wake up. 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 I don't want to live. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up. And I caught myself and I was like, what did I just say? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And I could not turn my mind off from saying, I don't want to wake up. But what scared me is that though I have never in my life thought about harming myself or having suicidal thoughts or having had suicidal thoughts, I'm smart enough to know that there is a hairline difference between I don't want to wake up and I don't want to live. And just as easily as I slipped up in my chant and said, I don't want to live, those thoughts can begin to manifest themselves into suicidal thoughts. And I was like, oh Lord, like what is going on here? And I just started praying and calling on the ancestors and calling on my mother and calling on my grandmother and calling on my father to please wake me out of this. Like, get me out of this. Get me. I'm like, please, Daddy, you just died. If you up there, please get me out of this because I don't like where it's going. And I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and nothing seemed to work. Going back to being methodical in my processing of feelings and emotions, I've always lived by the mantra of don't cheat yourself out of any emotion, right? Because if you do, if you don't process things as they occur, they tend to show up in your life at the most inopportune times. They pop off. They show up as bouts of rage, you mistreating your husband or talking to your coworkers any kind of way, you treating your children funny, or just you processing somebody saying hello to you all wrong because you've got all these unresolved emotions inside of you. So because of that, I was like, Q, let yourself feel what you're feeling. Everybody was calling and I'm thankful, and I had a lot of people, come on out, come out, cheer up, stop being sad. And, I was like, no. If there's a time in my life where I'm allowed to be sad and I am allowed to be a mess and I am allowed to fall apart, isn't now that time? Like, if immediately surrounding the person's death is not the time that I'm allowed to be a mess, then when is? Christmas? When I get my income tax money, I'm gonna take a vacation to the Dominican Republic and be a mess? No, I am carving out this amount of time for myself to be a damn mess and to fall apart and to be sad and to grieve. And I'm going to tell you something. I had set a cutoff date. I had said, Lord, October 31st, come hell or high water, I have got to get out of this damn funk and get my life back together and get it on track. One quick thing before I segue on to the next. You know, we as people of all races, religions, and nationalities, we tend to recycle behaviors that we've seen growing up. One thing that I don't like is when somebody passes away and people are like, be strong, you can do this, be strong, be strong. Somebody please tell me, what does that mean? Because I take be strong to mean stop crying, put on a smile, get on up out the bed, walk on out in the world, go back to work, go back to raising your kids, go back to dealing with the bullshit of the world. That's what I take be strong to mean. And again, when you have those unresolved feelings, you become a horrible fucking person. So no, my new advice to people who going through grief is lay out in your bed, get you some tater chips, fall out, cry, holler, don't bathe, don't shave, and do it for as long as you need to resolve those emotions. And that's what I feel like I've done. And I woke up this morning with the desire to go to IHOP, and myself said, self, today's the day. I'm like Anita Baker, baby. I've got no more tears for you. It's gonna be no. Yes. I almost bust out into a part, but I can't go that high tonight. Anyway, before this gets too lengthy. So, I told y'all I hadn't seen my dad until the whole hospice situation. And then I had been coming over to the house, visiting my sister and my stepmom. Dad was in the room. They was like, don't you want to go back there? I was like, actually, I really don't. I don't want to see him like that. I want to remember my daddy the way, you know, that I remember. And then I started feeling guilty the last time I was over there. And my sister said something that eased my guilt. She was like, well, he's not really responding no way. She was like, you know, he's moving his leg and moving this, and he can kind of tell you're there. But, yeah. And I was okay with that, because when I went in that room the 2 weeks prior to his death, we had a conversation. We both cried together, you know, and I feel like it was that final nail in the coffin that I needed to process this is happening. So, you know, I'm down to the bar with the Honda cars. I'm drunk, boots, come home. I get home, we would take off my clothes. My sister, like, it happened. I was like, all right, I'll come over to the house later. Come over to the house. You know, the body was already gone. Thank the Lord. I was fine. Everybody was fine. Family started coming over to the house. We eating chicken, slapping five, having cocktails, listening to the music. All the things families do when there's a death. There really was no sadness in the room. And then bam, okay, funeral was going to be next Saturday in Mississippi. My dad is from a small town called Grenada, Mississippi. That's where he wanted to be buried. But the dilemma for the family was, while his request was to be buried there, he still had a lot of loved ones, family members, neighbors, co-workers, and whatnot, who wanted their opportunity for closure as well. So a memorial, we decided that there would be a memorial and a funeral. Now, if I had my way, the memorial in Miami would have been first, and the funeral would have been the final farewell. And the reason that I say that is that there's just something symbolic about that casket, that body, and that body going into the grave that gives you that final ceremonial closure. Well, because of time and scheduling with our family, we ended up doing the funeral in Mississippi, which was very hard, but we got through it. Then we had to come back to Miami and do a memorial. His co-workers in his retirement organization, they put on a very nice memorial. And then at that memorial, other family members who could not make it out of town were able to attend, as well as all of our neighbors, so on and so forth. Now, here's the thing, right? I have not experienced a lot of death. I've never been to a memorial, okay? I just assumed that a memorial was going to be like his picture on a tripod, some food, some music, maybe 3 or 4 people would get up and speak, and maybe like a slideshow. I expected a light tear or two. What I walked into was a whole nother funeral. Okay. And I'm going to be honest with you. While I am thankful for what these people did, I think that memorial re-traumatized me and is what really sent me into which pushed the gas on the depression that I was already experiencing, and it just sent me down a rabbit hole very deeply, very quickly, into a very dark place. I can remember I walked in behind my sister and I. They had the table there with the programs and everything on it. And when I looked at the program and opened it up, it was a full fucking funeral. Okay? It was a full fucking funeral with nobody. Pastor, 2 selections, 3 reflections, slideshow, scripture reading, resolution reading. It was a full fucking funeral, and I don't wish that shit on no damn body. To look down at the end of the table, to have to see my stepmama down there crying and carrying on a damn gin, to see my sister crying and carrying on a damn gin, to see my sister's kids crying and carrying on a damn gin, me crying and carrying on a damn gin. Baby, I was so cried out. I had to take Halls and Vicks vapor rub and shit. Every orifice of mine that leaked fluid was stopped up, blocked up. I had toilet paper running all out my bag. It just was a mess. Now, I don't say any of this for it to be anything remotely offensive to the people who put on the memorial. Our family, I can't speak for my family. I am very thankful for everything y'all did. And I know that that was much needed and necessary for that group of people. I'm just speaking as someone who had to experience it all over again. It was going to 2 damn funerals for the same damn person. So with that being said, just word of caution to anybody out there. If you're ever thrown in a situation where your family has to do what my family did, I would recommend that you do the memorial first as a pre-funeral and not a post-funeral. Or if you're going to do a memorial after you have already had the funeral, please take control of it and make sure that it is something that does not mimic another funeral, because that was hard. And the only thing going through my mind right now about that memorial, my father was in the military. They presented the colors and unfolded the flag and then refolded the flag. All I remember at this moment is them passing this flag to my stepmom and just watching her break down and cry inconsolably as we are sitting at the front of a room on display like zoo animals for all these other mourners. That's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? Again, thank you to the people who put on the memorial. This is by no means any shade or slight to you. It's just speaking from my emotional state, having to endure 2 funerals. So after that happened, y'all, you know, I didn't even stick around. I had told my sister I was not staying around for that. I got a plate of food real quickly and I left. At that point, I was so fucking over people patting me on the back, my phone ringing from text messages, numbers, DMs from folks I do not know, and half of the hoes don't want to hear from, and just random people touching me. And I think that's why I retreat to my bedroom, because it's my enclave. I get to lay in this bed. I'm in control of what goes on in this room. I wrap up in my blanket. And while that tends to be my safety space, it also, I don't know if it's most healthy that I process things that way, because I get stuck down that rabbit hole, and stuck is what I got. So what happened during this time period? You know, y'all, a lot happened. Following that memorial, I was supposed to jump on a plane and go to Atlanta to attend YouTube Black. I didn't go. I just did not have it in me to be in another banquet hall type of environment with a bunch of people who I vaguely knew. For me, that just mimics a funeral or a memorial again. I'm in a big open space, a lot of chairs, friendly faces, familiar faces, don't really know them. And the symbolism between all the shaking of hands that I would have had to do versus the shaking of hands that I had just come off of, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to sit this one out, obviously. So, that was a career opportunity missed. Obviously, I haven't really done any videos this month, so I didn't make any money this month. There are a bunch of just other obligations that I had around town, parties, events, galas, obligations, things that I said I would host and do that I ended up flaking on. I've got some family members now that I've got to do some repair work with because everybody was calling. And then, some folks were calling and worrying themselves to the point of upset, and I tell people I'll send an occasional text or a Facebook post to let people know that I'm alive, but I got to go have a conversation with my aunt after she gets up, maybe around lunchtime, because she was calling so much. And I finally called, and then she had an attitude, and I was like, what's wrong? She was like, you're not answering the phone. And I was like, God damn it. And I said that to her. I was like, God damn it, auntie. My daddy did just die. Like, fuck. Like, I don't owe you that. I don't owe you. And I actually had a friend that was complaining about the fact that I was not taking her calls. I don't fucking owe you that. I don't fucking owe you an answered phone call during my darkest hour. Yes, I'm thankful that you're concerned. Excuse me. I'm thankful that you're concerned. I'm thankful that you care. I love you too, but leave me the fuck alone. Obviously, I'm not answering the phone, so stop calling. And eventually, we've been friends and family for this long. When I climb up out my rabbit hole and get back to myself, I will get back to you. But I don't owe you me. I don't owe you my life. And I think it's fucked up when somebody is grieving for other people to inadvertently try to make you feel guilty, like you owe it to them to answer the damn phone or to give them an explanation of how you're doing. It's obvious how I'm fucking doing. Bitch, I'm not answering the phone. You ain't heard from me in a week. Obviously, I'm fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and on some real shit, if you was really concerned about if I was alive, come knock on the damn door. But that's that. That's going to rattle some feathers, but it's just how I felt. So, what's next? Well, right now I have to rebuild everything that was torn down over the last month or 6 weeks. Business wise, I've got to just get back on it. I've missed doctor's appointment. I had an appointment that was like 3 months in the making about my teeth so I could start the process to get my implants. I'm probably not going to be able to get another damn appointment for another 2 or 3 months. So I'm very disappointed about that. I've got to do my round of apologies, my apology tour for events and things that I was supposed to attend or that I was a part of that I was unable to attend or be a part of. I've got to now go do the whole, hey, aunt so-and-so, hey, cousin so-and-so, I know you was calling, but this is what I was going through, and then I got to, what does the rest of this year look like? So, we got Thanksgiving and Christmas happening. We normally do at my sister's house in Tampa. Do I go? I don't know. I don't want to. I'm honest with you. I don't want to attend. Right now, the thought of that ensemble of family for me triggers negative thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And by me going to Thanksgiving, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing for us to do but stew in the fact that daddy ain't here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, we just came off the funeral. Now it's Thanksgiving. And it's just going to be one big remembrance that daddy ain't here. You know what I'm saying? And then I have to congregate again for Christmas. It's just one big reminder that daddy ain't here. And I just don't know if I want to do that. you know. And on the flip side of things, and I'm sitting here feeling guilty, like, well, damn, if I don't, is that going to traumatize some other people and have them feeling like, fuck, daddy ain't here and Quentin ain't here. And it's like I feel guilty, but then again I feel like, okay, but I have to take care of me, and I should have to take care of me first, and fuck everybody else and how they feel. You know, I'm all I got, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what to do as far as that's concerned. Right now though, it's really looking like I would much rather do a Friendsgiving or go out of town than to go be with my family for Thanksgiving. FYI. So family, don't be alarmed if I flake out, because here's your explanation as to why. You know, something else that my dad's death did for me. I'll never forget the episode. There was an episode of Basketball Wives, and Jennifer Williams was complaining when she was riding the fuck out of this whole my mother died, my mother died, my mother died situation, exploited it to the max. But she spoke about at her mother's funeral, you know, looking to her left and her right, and her sister had a husband and a family, and this person had this person, and she had nobody. And I remember that for some reason I just checked that scene in my mental Rolodex. And, you know, as my siblings and I began to fly back from the funeral, we drive to the airport, you know, and then we get on the flight together. This group get off here and this group get off here. And I was the last one to get home. It was like, wow, did you realize everybody just got off in groups? And you were on the last leg because I'm the furthest south, and you got off alone. Like your sister has her husband and her children. You know, my stepmom, despite the fact that she lost her husband, she's, you know, insulated by her sisters, I guess. You know, my stepbrother does have his 2 sons. My other brothers have their sons, their wives, their respective family, and I came home to me. And it was like, you know, while my sister has her husband to pick up some of the pieces while she's grieving, it's just me and Buddy and Georgie. And that was very dark for me. And it's put me in a place now of thinking about partnership, or relationship as a necessary component of life to a varying degree. Like now I'm really looking at like marriage and relationship from a strategy perspective. Like Negro, you need to get some, you kind of need to build a small family, and one tighter than your friends who you love. Like, yeah, it's about time you step on the gas and you find you somebody to be with. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying I just want any old man, especially not one down from the bar with a Honda Cosby. But it has left me feeling like, you know, this single shit is cool and whimsical and great, and I'm strong and I'm independent and I'm all of those things. But it's like, yeah, life wasn't meant to be lived alone. It damn sure wasn't meant to be going through hard times and whatnot alone. And yeah, we're gonna have to do some estate and some emotional planning over here and find us a piece of man, a little piece of husband, or later on. I say all of that to say, y'all, I'm just glad it's over. You know, I haven't had the desire to eat. Have been doing a lot of drinking, which was just, I already drink a lot. You know, bitch, I'm already at the bar every other night. But bitch, I was just doing a lot of drinking. You can hear it in my voice. I look dusty. And I was just like, you know, I got to get back to me. But I'm glad that I can definitively say that I've gotten it all out, and I'm back and I'm present, and I got my head back in the game. And I know this because I'm now prepared to check all these voicemails, call all these people, even the random people, check emails, clean up my house, wash. Baby, I ain't got a clean pair of drawers. Like, it's just, you know, I need to mop my floors. I mean, I just got it all going on in here today, but we're going to get through it. I piece this thing back together one day at a time, and I just thank y'all for being patient with me and allowing me to grieve. That being said, for the remainder of the day and probably for the remainder of this week, we're probably going to get more hot topic videos and topical style videos, because I don't know that it's the smartest use of my time to sit down and try to catch up on hours of TV when I've just got so much other shit to do, and then I can use that time wisely for my coinage approach and just for the sake of reacclimating y'all to the doll's face. So that's all I got. Ain't got no more. Thank y'all for bearing with me. Thank y'all for the outpour of love and well wishes. Y'all know I pride myself on being very transparent with everything that's going on with me. I think that's also another part of my healing process, and I hope that in the midst of my darkest times, struggles, and trials, that my transparency is able to help you in some capacity, way, shape, or form. That being said, I'm out of here, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.